Hey folks, let's look at some 410 shells. This is what we have today. The box says Troy. It is a 2.5-inch 410 shell. It has 1/2 ounce of 7.5 in it. So I got several boxes of these back when you couldn't find 410 shells of any type. And I needed some small bore shells, so this is what I could find. I don't normally buy 2.5-inch shells. I hand load brass 2.5-inch shells, so I'll usually buy 3-inch shells. But we're going to look at these Troys. I used these last year to do a little dove hunting with. So we're set up at 15 yards, and we're going to shoot our normal 12-inch bullseye target and see how these 7.5s pattern at 15 yards out of 2 different shotguns. And if they do pretty good at 15, we might move on back a little bit to 20 or 25 yards. We just have to see how this goes. But I can tell you that I took some doves with these. So I know that they will actually shoot. So let's get our New England out and do a little shooting. All right, so here we have our New England partner. It is a 3-inch chambered 410. It has a 26-inch barrel. It has a factory full choke. So let's shoot these Troys from 15 yards at our 12-inch bullseye target and see what kind of pattern we get out of these 7.5s. Here we go. I think I see some holes down there. All right, so here's our Stevens 301. This is a 3-inch chambered 410 with a 26-inch barrel and an extra full turkey choke at the end. And now these Troys, I've actually used them to dove hunt, and this is what I was using to dove hunt. And this is about the distance I was shooting, about 15 yards. I was in a little garden spot that the doves were coming to. So I haven't patterned these on paper, but I've used them to hunt because at the time that was the only small shot I could get for the 410. So let's put them on paper here with these Stevens and see how they pattern. That peppered him pretty good. All right, so we've moved back here 20 yards, and we're going to shoot these Troys again, these 7.5s out of the Stevens. We're not going to shoot out of New England. They didn't perform well out of New England. There's no need. But they did pretty good out of the Stevens. So we're going to shoot them here and see how they do at 20 yards. So here we go. I believe the wad hit again, and I believe I can see some holes. All right, let's go down there and look at these 3 targets and see what we think. So here we have the target that we shot with the New England, and it wasn't very impressive. At 15 yards, we got 15% in the 8-inch circle and 30% of the load in the 12-inch circle, which is about the exact same thing that we got with the Stevens here, the 301, at 20 yards. 15% of the load in the 8-inch circle and 30% of the load in the 12-inch circle. Something interesting is the Wadden hit all 3 of these targets. That's just interesting. The Stevens from 15 yards, it really peppered the target. We've got about a quarter of the pattern in the 8-inch circle and about 50% of the pattern in the 12-inch circle. So I like this. This definitely would take whatever bird you were after. So the fact that these Troys, I got them just because I couldn't find any other 410 shells. They're not a bad shell, but they're not something I would probably seek out in the future. So until next time, y'all stay safe in the dove field, and God bless. In my spot.